experiencing growth between all of our connections. So, yeah.
And we're so synced up, brother. I'm just rice cakes and avocados, man. Rice cakes and avocados.
Yeah, sometimes, and I think we got one of those already. That's getting rid of the old boyfriend or eating avocados. It seems like some things are passing away. And definitely, the signs are already here, though. This is what I just want to say. Congratulations. You made it without it. And this is the reality. When you look at the percentages of how many beings are actually at this stage of awareness and ready to crack into that next phase and accept that responsibility of the seriousness. Seriousness is also fun, and that's what I'm okay, so remember, so the Joker is the card that is the Joker, right? And there's nothing though that really cracks a very serious scenario than a joke, right? So that's kind of like the Joker is more powerful than God, because the Joker can always crack a joke. And while everybody can be like all serious, like, God, oh my goodness, we're gonna all get destroyed, then the Joker can come and crack a joke and just change the frequency of everything. Okay, so this is just changer. So you don't have gods of death, you have gods of transmutation. So all these archetypes are just, they're transmuting us as elements. But there is one more phase beyond the Joker, obviously. Like, actually, there's quite a few phases, but there's, like, let's say the opposite of Joker, because people don't realize the Joker is God. That's why the Joker is the jackal. The jackal is the dog. The dog is wet, which is basically Ra, right? It's the front eye, meaning the sun god, but the one facing this direction. So that's how the whole thing is about the whole sun god and all that and what that's all about. This place is even called Lycanopolis. It's like actually where what Heliopolis was originally called. So there's a deep connection. But remember, that's the beginning. So there's a deep connection. This being has the power to transmute, is weighing souls or weighing hearts by the scales, and it's bringing beings back to life. This is all the jackal, the Joker's role. It is doing this all in the reality, and almost to the point where it doesn't even know what it's doing, because it's also kind of like crazy in that way. So that's the backside of God. That's God's shadow. Okay. So the front side actually is really serious. See, because the Joker is a joke, the front side is really serious. And so I can just explain very briefly how you know how this energy works. If you've ever been on any journeys before, if you get administered a little too much medicine, or the medicine starts kicking in really strong on you, it goes from I can handle it to something very serious, where you start actually thinking, is this it for me? Especially if some stuff starts coming out of the field and all that, like you just end up in this very scary kind of serious mode. But in there, though, most of the knowledge is learned, right? Because if they're cracking jokes, some stuff is learned, but not a lot. But in the serious, you're going to learn something from that, right? If you make it out of that, that's going to give you wisdom and experience. But see, you have to be free with these energies. That's why they have that Hiroko. I think they call it the Hiroko. This is the shamans that there's the joking side. Because see, the reality is that we all would balance each other by, yo, you be the Joker so I can be serious, right? Or I want to be joking this time so you be serious. And then it would really work for us. That's what they call the change of guard when it was done perfectly. It's like you would get so like already over with being what you were, you would be ready to exchange your position for another position, and then someone else would come into your place. And that's how you would have experiences. Now, how the beings are working is they stay in their positions, they gain all the experience, and they use that as their power. But the problem is that they don't have that flexibility, right? And so that's really what this is all about. That's what this new movement, if you want to call it that, is really about, is about having the flexibility to be able to tap into the divine feminine and masculine, the Joker and the serious, the marketing and the metaphysics, basically being able to bring the marriage, because the marriage has already happened. And that's what I brought on my recent show. The marriage is happening, but many people are going through fights, arguments. The Dibor. Look at the word, Dibor. Man, that's a really crazy word. Like if I ever wanted to name a demon, I'd name him Dibor. Hey, Dibor. Look, it means to tear apart and to suck down. Damn. And that, it describes the energy. It really describes, like I said, with the whole division thing. That is the whole thing. Because see, when we're together, what's really happening? We're building a web. We're building like a raft. We're building a boat. We're building an ark. That's what happens when we come together. So then all of that, the chasm, it's like this huge, all of this, it's like, it looks like a drain. But we're building this net or these large ships in the drain, powerful enough to propel out of the drain. And so I just want to encourage everybody here on the line to stay encouraged, because, that's how it works. The drain literally it feels like your energy is drained. A lot of people around are sad. It does really feel like walking through sludge because they're in an illusion. Everything that I just explained to you gives you facts why they will never find love. Think about it. That's why they say the Joker is also connected to the Cupid, who was also February 26th, which is basically the day of the turning of the equinox. The turning of the equinox, it's other holidays. But basically what this is about, it's like a false love. And it just becomes like a joke. It's like, are you serious? This is love? This is a joke. And that's what it's really meant. Because comedy is also tragedy, right? Like that's how that whole smile now, cry later thing came about. Because think about the Joker, if he doesn't make a transition, or it doesn't make a transition, it's a masculine force, but a female can have it. If it doesn't make a transition, this smirk becomes painted on the Joker's face, but that's not how the Joker feels, right? Think about what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is if we don't grow up, if we don't get into this higher stage of our wisdom, even like people that play all the time, people who are still in the club, it starts to become like that smile and that fun starts to become like their grimace. It starts to become what is holding them back and what is the dark cloud over their lives. These are the metaphors. These are the blueprints. And it gives you a key directly to yourself. It lets you know the highest level of arcana, how the projection is really created right in your eyeball. And it's crazy because you know the power of your eyeball, because we think about like all these other parts of the body. We think about all these other things, different chakras and stuff. But man, to get to the world in the morning that you know about, you need eyeball. If you have no eyeball, you come to a different world. Even though you're still here, you don't see anything anymore. And this is how I was feeling through the spiritual plane. Because once I got beyond this world and all the static and the chaos, it just sounds like bending metal and screaming and horror. That's what it basically sounds like. And it's just all of the stuff that's playing in the reality. It's like hard rock. Literally. Yo, there it is. There you go. Another jewel. Remember we were talking about how there was really no land masses early in the game. Like you see the Atlantis maps and all that, and then you look at the mythology, they say we were all on celestial boats. So that means even on the physical version, everybody rode around in boats. All the trading was done at the bank, which is actually, so everybody was moving through the ocean and Niles and all that. There was few land masses. So what creates land masses? And we were talking about how that's the bones, the buildup of the bones. But even deeper, it's the hard rock. It's the density of the lower frequencies. And that's science, right? That's physics. Up high in the atmosphere, there's argon gas, radon gas. And you can go and get those gases. You can even go and distill those gases. They put them in light bulbs and stuff for cars. But notice how everything is really there as far as the knowledge. They use the argon gas or these higher gases up in the higher atmospheres to make the lights. So also subconsciously inside of us, if we want to work with the higher consciousness of our being, we work with the lights of our consciousness. And those lights are the same thing that's projecting the dream in front of you, right? Like you close your eyes at night and you see another world. And this is where the joy comes in. Look at this. This means if you close your eyes, you see another world, I guarantee you could come bill it to me if when you close your eyes here for good, you don't start seeing another world again. Think about what I'm saying. When you close your eyes here for good, you will start seeing another world again. Just like when you go to bed at night and you close your eyes, you start seeing another world, but that world is not this world. So what makes us think that that's not going to continue to happen? But even deeper, what makes us not be so encouraged to tap into that facility now that we know that that's how that really works? And why we believe in this one so much, because people say, well, why am I here? Why am I here? Because you believe in this one so much. When you're still in the egg, this is the one that you like. This is the one that you keep coming back to. This is the one that you keep thinking about. But when you get wise, that's when you start putting the childish things away. You start putting the Joker box away. Now remember the Joker box. Monkey chase the weasel. Pop goes the weasel. Right? And this is the children's toy with the Joker box. So who's the Joker? And why is he in a box? And why is it a certain amount of turns until he pops out? So it's all there. And zooming back, it just get off of it though. Get off. It's on your face, on your eyeball. So you gotta step back. And we're gonna talk about on Sunday. Failing to step back you lose everything. It's not just you're losing friends. You're gonna lose everything. Division takes everything. They always want, you can't take it with you. All those people who are hooked on these old currents that don't flow anywhere, you can't take it with you. Because, you can. But there is something that you can't. And that's how we get light. That's what this is all about. This is so powerful. The only thing I'm encouraged to do is, just relax and finish configuring the landing page and automations and affiliates. Because I'm using all of that intelligence. Because I'm challenging, again, I was talking to Sid about this, I'm challenging myself to stay balanced. Because I'm like spiritually extreme at this point. This is spiritual extremism, by the way. This is what it looks like. It's all accurate, but you got to sit with it. You got to live with this stuff every day. You got to function with it with family and kids and friends. It's this much. And it never stops talking. But the challenge is to balance that out with, okay, but you really did reach a balance. So as much as that you're receiving from that, as much as you're able to just nullify it. And this is what happens in the reality. This is another secret. So as you begin to accumulate things, and it always happens. Remember, I got rid of a whole life 10 years ago. And then just like a barnacle, a lot of life built back up again over the shell. Right? Let me go back at it again. Many of us have turned over new leaves on life like Andy Dufresne and found ourselves after another cycle, 10 years, back into another thing again. Like, you did it again. It's different. You apply more wisdom, but you have a tendency to actually be kind of tangled back up again. And now this is a part of the cycles. This is a part of how we really function. We have like a real string thing going on. Why we would want to just be that ball. There's a string coming off the back of that ball. And what I witnessed also during the new moon, during when we were at Envision, was the cosmos, because now I'm just only dealing with cosmos on the ascended signs. The cosmos pulled apart the natural independent. YouTube breakup. Now remember, I was telling everybody there had to be a demand for unity, right? I said we need to demand unity. And they were like, what does that mean? Because it came to me, I was reading something on the MindFlat page, and then it was trying to decode itself. And it said, no, you got to demand unity. And I was like, well, what does that mean? Because that sounds like forceful. It sounds forceful. And it said, exactly. You got to force people to do what's going to benefit them. And I was like, man, that's kind of hostile. It sounds like the whole Jehovah God. So no, not at all. Because it's like parents. Because when these kids start fighting, you got to force them to come together. And if you watch your parents, when they say, okay, you two stop fighting, you stop fighting because you're scared of what's going to happen next. You see what I mean? So that's actually what's about to happen to the world. They're going to stop fighting because they're going to be very afraid about what's going to next. And that's a sign that's going to come. But we don't got to wait for that time. We go now into this unified component and demanding unity. And this means that you guys just got to demand that back into yourself. I'm not saying you got to demand that from around you. You got to demand back into yourself from all those entities. Because now when you start seeing this vista, you're talking to yourself in an illusion, something's even answering back. What have you created? Magician. See, I saw this book a long time ago. It was about Solomon, and it was showing like him walking, and all these little imps and stuff was trying to pull on his coattails, and he was agitated by it. And it had a little excerpt on the bottom that said, "A warning to the mages who invoke imps and does not keep them maintained. They will become worried later on in the magician's life." And what they're talking about is that, hey, don't really do any petty magic about you just falling in love with the girl or whatever, because this is going to later on in life really get you. But hey, it happens to all magicians, meaning a lot of people evoke little petty things, their magic, and these are like little petty energies that they evoke. Then even long after they're done loving the person and they've gotten fulfilled with whatever it is the gratification is, and they think that they're done, this little baby, which is not unlike the incubus and succubus, is still living out there on the spiritual plane or in that coil or in that universe or in that projection that's inside of your shell. So that's why they talk about dissolving that and absorbing that back into yourself. You see, so they say that, okay, you have so many of you split all over the place.